we were out to dinner and I said, Bitcoin's dropping. It dropped like a crazy amount. It dropped like $10,000 in like 15 minutes. And the first thing she said was, we should buy some more.
Let's go.
You're like,
So good.
I knew I married the right lady. He's
Yeah,
like,
All right, guys. Welcome back to the Moon with the Lunas podcast. Bitcoin price currently today is at hovering over 66,000. Today we have the opportunity to chat with Vince and his wife Jezaray. Vince is the host of the Bitcoin broadcast and has been very influential. In the short time that he has been working on his show, he and his wife recently moved from Colorado to sunny Florida. We're excited to have get their insight as the first couple on our podcast. So welcome, guys.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thank you.
yeah, we're so excited to have a couple. With
Yeah.
I finally get another lady in the room with us. It's kind of nice. But yeah, so just kind of tell us your story a little bit, where you guys both originally from, and then kind of how you guys met.
Originally born and raised in Colorado. Vince was born in Chicago. His family, his parents moved down when he was like 2.
Yeah, I moved to Colorado when I was like 2 years old. So I don't remember that. So
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But really, like,
Colorado.
born and raised in Colorado. And we met through one of my girlfriends back in high school was dating his brother, and met him, and things just kind of took off from there.
Yeah, we were about 15, 16 years old at the time. And then, so we dated for a long time, obviously. And now we've almost been married almost for 10 years, 10 years this July.
Dude, let's
Oh, that's
go. I
cool.
love hearing that, man.
What day is your in July? What day in July?
The 31st.
Okay, we're the 13th of July. Yeah.
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 Dude, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, that's crazy that you guys really withheld. I mean, you guys have grown up together. That is so awesome.
Yeah, we've known each other like half of our lives.
Dude, that's great.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, now you can withstand anything because you've basically just gone through your entire childhood basically together.
Yeah. To grow up
We d-
together. Yep.
Go ahead.
To grow up together just is, definitely pretty wild.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
to be able to say that, just half of our life spent together, and here we are.
Yeah, that's amazing. What made you guys move to Florida then?
My job.
Okay.
Nice.
And
So I'll expand. Her work was obviously in Denver, Colorado, and we moved to Houston first. So we moved to Houston, Texas for about a year, and then her work again, we got moved to Florida about a year later. So only spent a year in Texas, and we've been in Florida for about a year and a half, almost 2 years
Nice.
maybe. So
Nice.
do you guys like it there?
yes.
Love it. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, we at least we both get the sunshine. We're in Southern California, so we have pretty good weather too, thankfully, but a little crazy in California, I guess.
Politically, we're a little different.
Yes. Exactly. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, thanks for sharing that story. I mean, we've also been together, kind of grew up in college wise, like together. So we've been together a while too.
Long time.
Yeah.
Long time. We've been together longer. We've been together
Yeah.
we've been together for like 16 years.
Yeah.
16 years now. This year will be 16 years, which is a long time.
Yeah,
Dang.
it is. It's incredible.
Yeah,
I feel like it's so rare these days for people to
Mhm.
say that they've been together, or like even people around our age to even just like say they've been in a relationship, let alone
Yeah.
been married or any of that. So I don't think it's very common in our generation to be as settled down with someone.
But yeah,
I agree.
that's why I'm always like, when I hear it, I'm like, dude, let's go. Good
Yeah.
job, guys. Like you said, like being an example for other people, because it's just like it's heard of now these days, And so
It's hopeful.
yeah,
It like
it's
makes
awesome.
people feel like, oh, this is real. This could be happening, especially if you grow up in a family where like you just don't see it or it just didn't work out,
Mhm.
it just or you're in an environment alone where you don't see healthy relationships,
Yeah.
yeah, it's helpful to see like a couple in front of you going, oh, there's healthy people around here,
Yeah.
they can have, calm conversations and grow together and, learn together. And I love that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really happy you guys are here. It's gonna be cool. So
Yeah. So one of the reasons why we're super pumped up about this episode is because we obviously have conversations in the background, behind closed doors about Bitcoin, right? It's about finances, it's about money, it's about the future, right? Especially when you start to understand things. And so there's always a dynamic happening with married couples or singles getting into relationships with people on finances and money. It's a pretty big issue. I feel like people need to address it.
mm,
And so we're super excited because we've been sharing our story, our journey a little bit, and so it's gonna be nice to hearing from another Bitcoin couple on your guys' journey, like what kind of those conversations had in the background. And so like just to kind of start things off, so who brought, I don't want to assume anything these days, but so who brought Bitcoin into the conversation, into the relationship?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. And then so when Ben's kind of shared this with you, Jezaray, initially, like what was kind of your first honest like reaction to this? Or did it something like happen over time?
It was definitely something that happened over time. It was subtle. It was kind of small conversations, a little bit of investing here and there with what we could. Back in our 20s, we weren't making a bunch of money, so it was definitely harder to like see money leave, that you're like, I don't know where this is this real? Like I'm going to trust
yeah.
him in it. But yeah, it was gradual, and
Okay.
yeah, he was very
Yeah.
respectful in the process.
Yeah, it
And
was I mean, we were when I first got into it, it was like we were just learning about investing. Like
Okay.
it wasn't like a aha moment, this is Bitcoin, I understand it, we're going all in.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a very subtle, like I was trying to learn how to trade stocks. So I was
Mm.
like learning like investing because I had a very boring job and I was like trying to just make extra money on the side.
Yes.
And this is like 2017-ish. So then I heard about Bitcoin and I was like, I have no idea what this thing is. And so we were literally buying like $20 to like $50 like a month type thing.
Yeah.
Like not
Yeah.
big dollar amounts. We were living paycheck to paycheck for sure back
Okay.
then. Like
Mm-hmm.
both of us not making good money at the time. And so, yeah, trying to put money into something like Bitcoin in 2017, 2018, and we had no idea what it was except for the fact that it just kept going up. And it was
Yeah.
like you put $50 in and then, it's worth $75 and you're like, well, that's kind of crazy. And then
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
how it all started.
Yeah,
But
it kind of built that conviction then probably to see it go up. At least you knew that it was going up, not being taken away or going into some random place. Cause I kind of had the similar, Anthony was pretty like eased into it a little bit. He started talking about, well, we need to invest, kind of similar to you, Vince, trying to figure out like, how can we get this money to grow that we're working so hard for,
Mm-hmm.
And he would share that with me. And then he started getting into Bitcoin and I was like, okay, I trust you. Honestly, my mental capacity to learn something new wasn't really there. I was just like, I trust you. I know that you're not like driving our family into the hole. Like I trust that you're doing something positive, but we'll get to it. Like I eventually will,
Mm.
get around to me learning a little bit more, and that's kind of where we are right now, and so, yeah, I had the same I knew it was positive, but I just didn't know much about it too. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it
And then
was
for you, Desiree, like so does it feel like right now, like, is it confusing still, or do you feel like you have a good pulse on Bitcoin in general?
I definitely feel like I have a good pulse. I will say, I think one of the biggest challenges with Bitcoin is that it's not like something tangible that you can hold in your hand. Like a
Mm-hmm.
big thing with cash is like it's paper, right? I can hold it in my hand. I know that it's there. And like even though I
Mm-hmm.
hand it over to a bank, whether it's in a, you know, auto deposit into my bank account, it flashes these numbers on an app that I have with my bank. I physically have held that money at some point in my life, and I know that it exists.
Right.
Yes.
But with Bitcoin, it's like there's nothing to like physically hold within your hand. And that's a challenge, I think, for all generations.
Yeah.
So to like truly wrap your mind around that. But then I think of it in the standpoint of, well, you physically held your money at one point, but now we just let it all auto deposit. We let it sit in a bank, and the bank tells us that it's so many commas or whatever in your bank account. And you're like, that's that cash that I can hold in my hand. But really it's just numbers. It's a digital whatever, like a digital currency, just same as Bitcoin. It's just if you go to a bank account, they'll still, if you go to a bank and you try to take anything out, they're still going to cap you at certain points. And
Yeah.
you're going to have to go through all these loopholes in order to actually physically hold on to your cash. So I think
Right.
for me, the challenge is that you can't physically hold it, but you can't really physically hold your own money so much
Yeah.
anymore as you could
Mhm.
when it was like back in the Great Depression and people were hiding that money in
Yeah.
their purses,
Yeah.
right? So it's like you're already kind of living in that, and just to get people to wrap their minds around that, to see that, I think that's the greatest challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
No, that is really good. It is so true. Everything is just totally digital now, right? And so it's probably and how many people are holding their money under their mattress anymore too, right? Those people. And so I don't know. You're absolutely right. It is one of those things where we are transitioning into a digital world as well, right?
Yeah.
With everything like computers and everything. So it does make sense to like, okay, well, this might not be something I need to hold anymore as far as like cash on hand anymore or in a wallet. I don't even remember the last time I actually like used cash. Actually, when I think about it, like it's been a while. I don't remember the last time gave somebody a $20 bill or a five or nothing.
Yeah.
So with Bitcoin comes volatility. And so with this volatility, it's going up and down. I know a story one time. I think Vince shared with me when I was on his podcast. So it was Bitcoin dropped, and you guys were like at dinner, and he was like, "Whoa, like this is crazy! Like it just dropped a lot." And so the volatility is real. Right now, we're experiencing the volatility. 126. We're all the way down to 68K today. Like, has any of that like ever kind of like tested you on like, hey, I don't know, Vince, what are we
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
I think the answer that most people want to hear is that yes, that's a challenge, right? And that's gonna, I think finances within a relationship alone it's a very challenging topic.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you, as you all said, you just fully trust the person, this human that I decided to spend the rest of my life with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see that the physical drop in the dollars, and it can be heart sinking, but at the same time it's like once you start understanding the markets and currency in general and just like what's happening in the world, it's like
Mm-hmm.
things always drop and things
Yeah.
always come back. So it's kind of, where are you at? Are you going to be overreactive and
Right.
Mm-hmm.
panic, or are you going to be reactive and say, that sucked, but we're going to hang on for the
Mm-hmm.
longevity of it? Just like in relationships, you have ebbs and flows. You have situations
Mm-hmm.
where it's like it's hard and it's hard to get through, but like you still show up anyway. And I think anything financially is the same way. Like you're going to have dips and you're going to have highs. And so it's
Nice.
like in the dips, just hold on that reserve and that trust with that person, and trust in like what you so strongly believe in. And then
Yeah.
in the highs, kind of plan for the dips, and so that it's not such a panic in the
Mm-hmm.
dip.
So
And I'll
good.
add on, uh, I mean that example at the restaurant, that was like the biggest drawdown I think in Bitcoin's history or something. And that we were out to dinner, and I said, yeah, like Bitcoin's dropping. It dropped like a crazy amount. It dropped
Yeah.
like $10,000 in like 15 minutes. And
Yeah.
the first thing she said was, we should buy some more.
Let's go. Let's
Nice.
go,
That's
Jezaray. Let's
great.
go. Awesome. That is
You're like,
so
I
good.
knew I married the right lady.
Yeah.
That's what Vince was like. Everything clicked. Everything clicked, dude.
Speaking of clicking, when did Bitcoin actually click for you, Vince? Like, when did you start, like, first get introduced to Bitcoin?
Yeah, well, I first got introduced in like 2017, 2018, but then it didn't click until about 2020. So it took a couple years because it was like, you know, 2017, 2018, like I said, we were just buying small amounts, like $20, $50 a month type thing. And then as we started growing in our careers and making more money, it might have been, we doubled that, so $100 a month. But then 2020 happens, right? And that's when everything that I had been like learning about Bitcoin just instantly clicked, because I'd been listening to podcasts nonstop, like 6 hours a day of Bitcoin podcasts, just on like the fundamentals of it, of like, what is this thing? Why was it invented? Why is it this great technology? How come it's never been hacked? Like, there's only 21 million. And I was like, okay, who really cares? Like, I don't know. None of it made sense. And then you start going down the rabbit holes of like the history of money and then government. And then you realize that like most of everything you've been lied to about. And then 2020 happened. And that was like the big eye opener. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is what Bitcoin was made for, right? Like in these types of situations, like if you need to leave the country, you can't do that with cash. And let over $10,000. Like, sure, you can bring a couple $100 with you, but that's about it. You can't bring your gold with you. Okay, so you can bring your Bitcoin with you, and that's about it. If you want, like, say, $100,000 worth of money, it needs to be in Bitcoin. And then it was money printing and inflation, and all of these things all happened in 2020, and that was the big moment. And I think I was like constantly, preaching it to her like the whole time. Like, and so we kind of went all in Bitcoin then. I mean, like we got those stimmy checks and those went straight into Bitcoin. We were like,
That's
I'm not holding on to this. Like, this is bullshit. Sorry, I don't know if you can cuss on your episode.
You can cuss whatever you want,
That's
man.
fine.
Say whatever you want, man.
But I was like, no, this is not okay. Like, the government just printed like $4 trillion and they're handing out $1,200 to every person. And not only that, they're handing out millions of dollars to millionaires, that to keep their business alive. And I'm like, wait, the Kardashians are worth how much money? And they got like $50 million in PPP loans. I was like, why are they getting all this free money? And so we took every dollar that they gave us in the stimulus checks in 2020, and we just dumped it all into Bitcoin. And ever since then, we've pretty much been all in.
Yeah,
Awesome.
dude, that's great. That's so funny. And like, even like people forget about PPP loans. Like, dude, like those are like a lot of people don't even pay them back. There's like no follow up on that. There was like no credential checks. Like, hey, is this a legit business that you actually have, or anything like that? People were just applying for PPP loans and just taking X amount of dollars. So it's like, again, goofiness, just like madness. And
Yeah, that was crazy.
it's just crazy.
That was a wild time. He was working in loans at the time, and gosh, like I just couldn't even believe the conversations he was having with people. Like, you're just having these crazy conversations with finances, and you're like, how are you buying a house right now? Like it's like the world shut down. What do you do? Like I'm so confused. And so it actually that like helped me like kind of get more into what was actually going on in the world and finances too. I think that was a very eye opener for a lot of people during that time. Home, so we were seeing all this stuff. It was just wild. It was wild.
Yeah, you were either during COVID, you were either what I kind of like, you were either striving or starving, right? That's what it felt like. People were either striving or like, dude, rebuilding their whole entire house, right? Or people were just like, dude, like I just got laid off, like, and then they're like, and collecting these unemployment checks, and then also a huge mental loop. So now people are getting these more money being laid off. So now they enter into the workforce, going back to work, everyone thinks they're worth more than what they're actually like are.
Yeah.
And so they're like, I want more money, right? It's like, dude, you need to add value. You
Yep.
can't like you were just like, those unemployment checks are not real. Like, what are we talking about?
So true.
Dude, that's
Dude,
funny.
that's great. I don't want to. I've me and Anthony have had so many conversations about how we utilize this time of dips and highs and lows, and he would tell me, he's like, okay, well, it's really low, like we need to go all in, and I'm so impressed with Jezaray, like just being like, yeah, let's just go for it, buy more. And my brain was like, oh my gosh, wait, we have bills, we have, and everyone's in their own circumstances. Everyone's figuring things out on their own. But, he would be like, you know,
I was in the background pressing
juiced.
buy.
Like this guy was just like, we got to buy more. Like, and I'm not a very emotional person about certain things. Like I'm very kind of like, hey, let's just like talk about this first and like let's, have a conversation.
No, it can immediately just pump like, and we can miss the dip. No, there's no.
I know
So we've had,
the conversation is usually how much are we buying?
So
Yeah,
It's
good.
not
that's
it's
so
not
good.
are we buying or not? It's like
Yeah.
how much can we afford to buy right now?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, that's well said right
Yeah.
there.
And so don't necessarily argue, but have you guys ever had like a little discussion, disagreement when it comes to, Bitcoin? Not to stir the pot if you don't feel comfortable ever answering this. We totally don't want to stir the pot at all. But, it's good. I feel like these are healthy conversations that couples are having too.
Absolutely, and I think it is something that couples need to be comfortable talking about. I would say our biggest disagreement necessarily, but like one thing that bothers me is sometimes he'll just be like, I'll wake up in the morning because he's kind of more of a night owl and I'm the morning person, and so he'll finally wake up in the morning and be like, hey, I put a little bit more into Bitcoin. I'm like, well, how much? Like, you didn't
Yes.
ask me, you didn't talk to me, you just did it. And that's my pet peeve with him. It's like you
Yeah.
can't just like
It was
I-
dipping.
just wake me up or
Exactly.
I don't know. Don't wake me up either. But
Yeah.
like talk to me. Talk to me
Yes.
Yeah.
first.
Yes. I think as like wives, I think we are like, I want to be in the same mission with my husband, like we're on the same mission, but just include me in that mission. Like I'm down.
You're asleep.
But we're still part of the mission.
We're part of the mission.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Captain,
I'm down to make some
co-captain.
money. Yeah.
We
Like
need
just
our,
let me know.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've got shifts here, right? Like one of us sleeps, buys Bitcoin. I get it, but to be kept in the loop is very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that, and I think that's so well said too, Jezaray, is because I think it's like a conversation that's happening a lot behind closed doors with Bitcoiners, because there's usually somebody that's like a maxi, right? Or like somebody that's kind of like all in. I would use that, or someone that has like more conviction, and the other one's still kind of like trailing with like learning, because it is a lot of learning, Vince shared with them, he spent hours on podcasts, right? And then he was just like, you have to do your homework type of deal. So we're all living lives, life be life in. And so we're not always just like carving out time to like, hey, let me learn the new money system that's about to like, that's going through adoption right now. It's not something that's in, and especially when we've been like participating and grown into this world, and our parents have grown into this world of fiat. And so it's so hard to grasp. So being included, absolutely. I can
Yeah.
see where you're coming from with that and what Danielle kind of shares with me, but I just want to share with you that Bits knows what he's doing.
Well, I'll throw something else in there. So we're very like we talk about our finances often. Like it's very when couples say that like they don't even know how much their significant other like has in their bank account, I'm like, bro, I don't even have my own bank account. First of all,
Yeah.
we've had a shared bank account since we got married, and
Yes.
I canceled my bank account. So
Yeah.
all I
Really quickly to interrupt, we did go in being married, being like, we'll have our separate accounts for our me money, and then we'll have a joint account. It just never worked. It was like, why are we
Yeah.
doing this? Just have
Yeah.
a joint account. So we closed
Yes.
both of
That's
our
so
bank
good.
accounts and then had the
Yeah.
joint. So sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, no, I mean, we went into it thinking separate bank accounts. It lasted like 2 months. And
Yeah.
then everything goes into one bank account. But like
Mhm.
we're very open about like what we spend our money on. Like if she's at work, she'll literally text me and be like, "Hey, like even though it's a question, it won't be like I don't know, like a demand or like she needs permission, but she'll be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, like I'm getting a sandwich," or "Hey, can I go out to lunch and get this?" And I'm like, "Oh, like yes." Like, okay, so we know where we're spending our money
So good.
Yeah.
at all times.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And then sometimes
It's a
I
request.
stay up till midnight and Bitcoin drops 3%, you know, because Asia like sells off or something. And so, yeah, there's like maybe a couple $100 missing in the morning. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
it's like, well, I looked at the bank account, like we're good. Like I
Yeah.
didn't,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
No,
know, but
that's so
yeah,
good. That's so
but
good, Vince.
I think it's very healthy for couples to be like really open about
Transparent.
yeah, where you're
Yes.
Yes.
spending your money. And if you can go through your own bank account and justify like every purchase, like we do that pretty much once a year where
So
it's
good.
like, hey, where is our money going and how much are
Mhm.
we spending on stupid stuff, you know,
Yep.
going out to eat, for example, or
Where
like,
can
Yep.
we cancel subscriptions?
yeah,
Where can we like kind
Yeah.
of pull back a little bit and like
Yep.
make sure that like we have an emergency fund, we have
Yeah.
a good
Mhm.
funding into markets, into Bitcoin. Like
Yeah.
where can we pull back to make sure we're investing really into ourselves and our future and our children, future children, and
Yeah.
just planning and being transparent with each other. I think that's
yeah,
all that's key in any relationship, right? Just be upfront.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do the same thing. We're
Yeah.
exactly the same way.
Yeah. I'm like, are we talking to
Because
ourselves?
I think of like people who have separate accounts, like I don't really understand it. I mean I get it, kind of.
To
I
each
don't
their
know.
own.
To
To
each
each
their
their
own.
own. We're
Sorry.
not, there's
No
no right
judgment.
way or wrong way,
But
but to
it's
each their own.
yes, but
Look.
but to the point of I mean, we're in the same mission. Let's put our money together. Let's get it going. Like we're going to be gathering fruit together and being able to like,
Mhm.
have an amazing life because of the things that we're doing together.
Mhm.
We're a team. We're making like this awesome goal happen because
Mhm.
we're together.
Mhm.
And yes, we're going to have to say no to some things or we're going to be like, "Hey, I was going to go out to lunch with, some friends. Like, is that, is that too much right now? Like, should I push that off to the next month or something like
Mhm.
that? Because yeah, we budget in personal money, our
Mhm.
personal, but if it goes over that, then I'm like, oh, I
Mhm.
said yes and I shouldn't have, and
Yeah.
so it's being transparent with each other is so important. So important in a relationship, any relationship.
Well, I think too, like if like people will share the same roof together, right? They'll get married together. They'll share the same bed together. They'll have kids together, but you won't share accounts. What are we talking
Yeah.
about? Right?
Yeah.
Like that, again, to each their own, but it's like the dots need to connect.
Yeah.
And so going back to what Vince talked about, okay, well, doing like a self audit, right? Does this make sense? Are we buying
Mhm.
this stuff like that? That's so healthy and some people might be listening to this and be like, well, like, why do I have to check in and like what with my spouse or my significant other if I'm gonna buy something small? Like, it's not that. I think it's always good to over communicate than under communicate,
Yeah.
right?
it's a respect
Absolutely.
thing. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like it's a respect thing for
I
us.
I
It's
think
I don't know.
it's a reverence to your marriage. I think
Yeah.
hmm
marriage is a holy covenant and it's something that you like came together and said we're going to do this, and for us like we did that under God and God's in our
yes,
relationship, and it's very much so like this is a holy union and we're going to treat it as such, and there's the relational aspect to it, there's the respect aspect to it, and I think it's a partnership. We keep saying like a mission, but it's a partnership. Like you wouldn't go into business with somebody that is going bankrupt, right? Like you
hmm
Yeah.
had to have conversations about your finances. You have to look at the books, or else you're not
hmm
going to have a partnership in a
yes,
business. And I think marriage, in some levels, uncomfortably for some,
hmm
that it's necessary. It's a
Yeah.
necessity in marriage. You talk about your finances, you talk about the debt, your student loan debt, your car payment
again,
debt, whatever it may be. Because if you're ever holding that back, one, you're just holding on to guilt. You're
hmm
Yeah.
you're hiding something. So you're already not being truthful, and you're already
Right.
hmm
putting damage, you're like bandaging little wounds in your marriage already. So it's like just be 100% upfront, and finances are a big part of that.
Yeah, so good.
Dude, so good, Jezaray.
Yeah, yeah, everything you're saying is just right on point. So good. So on to that kind of like the future focus, being on the same partnership mission together. Has Bitcoin changed? You know, this could be for both of you. Has Bitcoin changed kind of how you think about the future?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think for me, my biggest takeaway is that it really gives you a financial freedom without like having to put your money into offshore accounts, right? Like you don't have to go into complete hiding. You genuinely can hold on to your finances. The government can't tax it yet, right? Kind of. Maybe I shouldn't. It, it is just one of those things where it's like what you do, what you put in, and you get back and tenfold of that, it's yours and no one can take it from you. It just is like this true sense of freedom. And I think in society today and the political and economic like environment right now, that is so important
Yeah.
because everything is so expensive. Everything is so controlled. It really, to me, it just screams like being free to be able to move your money. Your money is going to help your life no matter what. Like I hate to say that. I do think most things in the world are wood, hay, and stubble and it's all gonna burn. But like I need to be able to control some aspect of it. And I think Bitcoin really gives people the freedom to have control of their actual finances without the tyranny of the government
Yeah.
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah, that's so good. And speaking about like Swiss bank accounts, I remember like Obama was like, "Yeah, with Bitcoin, pretty soon we'll just have everybody will just be walking around with a Swiss bank account, in their pocket." And I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
sounds
the
good.
goal, bro. That sounds great. Like, why are you trying to like hold back or like again, it's just kind of like cringing in, right? Like getting that hand in there, like, hey, we don't know what's going on. Like, you don't need to know what's going on."
Yeah.
And I think that's great with Bitcoin is like because if Vince and Jezaray have $1 million. Who else should know that Vince and Jezaray have $1 million? Nobody.
Nobody needs
Nobody.
to know.
Exactly.
Mhm.
The only people are you. And that's why, like, even going back to our regular current financial system, the fractional reserve banking system, it's like they know everything. And then, like, is it ours when we go to the bank, like you shared,
Yeah.
and we're like, hey, I want to take out like 15. So I'll share the story. So during COVID, I was like, hey, I wanted to like everything was falling apart, right? Things were weird, freezing, banks, basketball, sports, everything was just coming to an end, right? I remember I was like, I'm gonna go into Wells Fargo and I'm just gonna take out like 15 grand. Like I just want to have something on hand just in case something happens. Like, oh, and so I went in there, oh my gosh, they gave me the hardest time. They're like, why? And I'm like, why? I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I'm like, I'm not gonna have this conversation. Can you just get your manager and then just have him bring out the 15,000 too? Like, just please, I thought this is my money, right?
Mhm.
And there was like, long story short, there was so much pushback, and they're like asking questions, and I'm like, I don't need to tell you guys anything. And then they finally came out and brought it, and I'm like, this was weird, right? And then again, like you shared, Vince, is like, dude, 2020 was an eye opener for like on all levels of the playing field, like on money, right? On like how the government acts and how they're printing money and all this stuff. It's like red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag,
Mhm.
And so going back to like the future of Bitcoin, so like anything that you would hope for or like want Bitcoin to accomplish for you guys in like let's just say the next 10 years, like whether it's things or whether it's freedom or just is there anything that kind of like you're hoping it kind of accomplishes for you guys?
I'm hoping in 10 years, no one knows what the price will be, but I guarantee you it's going to be higher than it is today and
Uh-huh.
higher than the last all-time high. Um,
Yes.
and so, I mean, the goal is to be financially free. We would both be 45, sorry, 46.
Okay.
So, if we could be completely financially free where working is an option and not necessity, that's the goal, right? Is to to be able to, you want our end goal is, live on a farm kind of. We want land.
Yeah.
We want something sustainable like our own garden, cows, chickens,
Nice.
goats,
Horses.
horses.
Donkeys.
Yeah,
Nice.
all of them.
I love this.
Donkeys.
Yeah, so that's like the end goal, right? And whether that's going to happen in 10 years or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I hope so, and that's why we're taking advantage of, like, the price action today, and
Yeah.
the lows every time, because we know, $1 will buy you X amount of Bitcoin right now. Well,
Mhm.
3 months ago, it bought you about half of what it does. So right
Mhm.
now, they say Bitcoin buys you freedom, or Bitcoin gives you freedom. And when Bitcoin goes down, you can buy more Bitcoin. So
Mhm.
you can buy more freedom today than you could. And so you're buying it for your future. And so we're hoping in 10 years, I mean, who knows?
Mhm.
Who knows what, like, governments could do, what the
Yeah.
price might actually be, but I'm thinking in 10 years, dude, like, if we could potentially be, like, pretty much retired if we wanted to, that's the
Yes.
goal.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. And I think that's so cool too, because you hear when you talk to a lot of Bitcoiners, a lot of their like end goal is freedom, right? It's not even things anymore. I think we all initially start off as things like Lambos, a house, just boats, just yachts or whatever, right? You're just like, this is great. And within the more you learn and understand it and you build this conviction, you're just like, no, it's actually this vehicle to get me free, from everything else
Yeah.
and separate you. And I think that's such a great goal. Like it's kind of crazy how like all Bitcoiners think like that too, right? Like
Mm.
you talk to your normal person when I was in loans, they're like, yeah, like I want to get XYZ, I'm gonna get this, like, and it's like, dude, it's like, and then you look back and like, man, it's all stuff. Like it adds no value. And then as soon as you buy anything you buy now, it just depreciates. Like
Yeah.
everything is depreciating and falling apart. And so no, I think that's incredible. Like that's our goal too. Like we want her to I want like Danielle to hurry up and get free. And I'll put the I'll work a little
Yes,
bit longer,
please.
but like Danielle free. And going back to what you shared, Vince, let's say it happens in 15 years, right? Like we're 50, right? Because we're all the same age as you guys. And so uh dude, that's still great.
Yeah.
That's still great.
Yeah.
Like that's to be like, hey, bye guy, bye JOB, at 50 or
Yeah.
sooner. Like that's amazing.
Well, because if you look at
Well,
like go
I
ahead.
was
Go
just
ahead,
gonna
man.
say our backup plan is other people's normal plan. Like, our
Yeah.
backup plan is to retire at 65, right? That's when you can finally take money out of your retirement accounts. Like, we still
Yeah.
have 401ks. Like, we still have retirement accounts. So,
Hmm.
okay, if Bitcoin takes longer to get to a point where I can't live off of it, um, okay, then we retire when everyone else plans to retire. So
Yeah.
that's our backup plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, the alternative is like working forever, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm gonna go with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I'll go with Bitcoin, where it's proven as well.
That's such a I've just from everyone that I've talked to, you guys included, it's just been really cool to see how future focused people are as like Bitcoiners are, just that there's more hope in their like demeanor, even like even in their cadence of talking, and just like it's just feels uplifting, because like in this world it's so negative all the time, and it's all these doom and
Wars.
like wars and all this stuff, and you're like, gosh, like, can we just have some happy people around here? Like we're just like looking forward to the future, and thankful for each day, and we are, just all of those things. And sometimes I talk to people and I'm like, oh man, you are a vampire of my soul right now.
Yeah,
I
just
need to
energy
like,
sucker.
you are an energy sucker. I'm out of like, I cut people out now because I just can't handle it. I'm like, no, I got so much joy, and like the future is so bright because of, what we're doing in our life, each day. And I feel like when people don't have something to look forward to, it's just, you can see it. You can totally see it. And every Bitcoiner we've talked to, it's like all from different backgrounds. And too, Vince, like when you talk to people, you're like, geez, like, I don't know if I would be here right now if I was you, Like, I don't, truly, I feel like sometimes I'm like, I am so grateful for where I was born and like where like my family, all of these like certain things that planned out the way it was supposed to, because I don't know how my life would have turned out in another situation. And
Mm.
so thankfully people, invest in people, and hope people open their eyes to different avenues and things like Bitcoin, that, they can bring that hope back into their life. So, yeah, it's so good.
Oh,
I love,
that's a kind of cool point though too, is like not like the low time preference, like, kind of delaying gratification and everything. And invest now for your future. But then you said like taking friends out that you are like pessimists, they kind of drain you instead
yeah,
of build you up. And I think one big thing with Bitcoin is you learn where you want to put your time and energy, because that's scarcer than Bitcoin is, your time. And so you're like, well, why would I spend time with someone where all we do is argue, or all we do is, they drain me of my energy constantly, and it's like all they do is take from you. So
yeah.
then you kind of learn to cut those people out of your life, and you're like, why does it even matter? Like, you know, so I was
Yeah.
just adding on to what you said.
Yeah,
So
no, it's true. I don't have time for that. We have 3 young kids too, and I'm like, my energy is like, especially when you start having kids, it's like, oh, I don't have time for anybody's baloney.
Yeah.
I don't have any time for anyone's BS at the moment, because I have my own BS to deal with, and so I'm like, I got, I have to be positive Pam over here. I have to be going and doing stuff, and yeah, you have to make sure who you surround yourself. You do an audit for your finances, and you can
Mhm.
also do audits for your friends, audits for your family, unfortunately sometimes. Like
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
have to really audit the things that are in your life periodically, pretty often, because you have to be your best self. And like everyone
Mhm.
in Bitcoin's like working out and like doing all these awesome things to make themselves better. That's just so like such an attractive trait of all people who are trying to grow themselves, right?
Mhm.
Is just trying to be
Mhm.
better. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's really good.
yeah.
That's really good.
But anyway, just to kind of close up here, what advice would you give to couples where, maybe one's really excited about Bitcoin and the other is kind of skeptical, or just in general, any advice that you could share with other couples?
I think, and I kind of thought about this today. You go all in on your person, right? So
Yeah.
you go
I
100%
thought she was gonna
I
say you go all in on Bitcoin.
He's like, bye.
Bitcoin, then you're going all in on your person in Bitcoin, right?
It's like, I'm about to go make a buy right now.
A story I'll share with y'all is that we did a premarital counseling session, and it was like nearing the end of the premarital, and we had, as elementary as this sounds, we had building blocks, and we built them together, talking, communicating face to face. And then the counselor was like, "Okay, now go back to back and build the same exact thing." And so we communicated, and like he would say a sphere, and I'd be like, "You mean a circle?" And he's like, "Yeah." So just like learning those communicative styles. And at the very end, it was the counselor was like, "Okay, do you guys think that you built the same exact thing? And if so, you can turn around and you can get married. But if you did not, and you turn around, it's not correct, you cannot get married." So we literally bet our entire marriage on building blocks, went through it one more time together, and turned around and we had built the exact same thing. So we
Let's
Yay.
go.
built this marriage on building blocks. And I think it just is trust your person. Trust your person. If you have any questions, there are so many resources out there. There are books, there are podcasts, you have Chat GPT now. You
Yeah.
can't trust everything, but like I think we're in an age of the day where it's just like resources are at your fingertips. Go find
Mhm. Yes.
Go do your own research. If you have any questions that your spouse is not giving you, your significant other, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever it may be, go seek it out yourself. There's no excuse anymore.
Mhm.
That's part of the problem, right? We have everything exposed to our fingertips at any time. That's go research.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
And ask questions. I mean,
Yeah,
you could be in Bitcoin for since 2010, and you still don't know everything. Like
Mhm.
it's endless. And
Yeah.
so uh yeah, no, keep learning, keep
Yeah.
educating, keep keep the communication channels open. And then, you know, I think my biggest thing, if you have one person that's like really into Bitcoin and the other person isn't, um, honestly, talk about finances. Like, if you don't talk about finances and you don't talk about where your money's going,
Yeah.
then I mean, one day, I mean, sure, if you surprise them and you're like, "Hey, look, I have 10 Bitcoin," then they're gonna be super happy. But like,
Mhm.
don't 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 go around and like sneak money. Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just be open about it, and uh it makes it more fun too. I mean, you can kind of joke and be like, yeah, when the price is going down, it's like we don't talk about Bitcoin that much. Like, we buy it, but we don't talk about it. But when the price is going up, it's like, babe, like, look,
Yeah.
it's like,
Exactly. Exactly.
it's like I have someone to celebrate the wins
Yeah.
with. And then, you know in the dark winters, it's like, okay, like, that back to, normal life, and we're just, we keep
Mhm.
stacking.
Yeah.
Um, but if you don't have that, then it can get lonely quick.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
And
yeah.
then you don't really feel like what's the purpose of me doing this if like my partner's also not also involved with it? You know what I mean? Like I can kind of like it would be like if Anthony was like telling me all this stuff, he was always super excited, and then I was just super down
Eh,
about it, and
eh.
like that's cool, Then he'd be like, "Wait, I'm doing this for us," Like it would make like I'm just putting myself in his shoes. Like I think it would be really like discouraging to want to do something for your family if like your partnership isn't like solid and communicating about it and
Mhm.
excited about it together. And not necessarily we have to be excited about every single minute of it, but it's like, hey, hey, this happened today, and like, oh, that's really interesting, like what do you think we should do about it, like having those conversations. And so I totally agree with what both of you are saying, and I love that building blocks advice, because I feel like that probably would have been really good for us in the
Mhm.
beginning of our
Yeah.
relationship. That where our brains, I've learned, are totally different. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I would have never thought of it that way. And then he
Mhm.
does the same thing to me. He's like, that never even crossed my mind. And I'm sure you guys have those same conversations too.
Absolutely.
But I'm glad you guys were able to get married after turning around.
I know. I was like, wait, are we really betting? I mean, back to back, I was like, wait, are we really about to do this? And it's like, yeah, I think we're good. I'm like, okay. I mean, naive, right? And young, but I mean, it really just today, I think it was foundational blocks, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you had to over communicate. You were over communicating. You went through it like 100 times probably. Like,
Mhm.
okay, this is there, right?
Yeah.
Like, I really
see
want
my
to marry
brain.
you.
Yeah.
So please don't mess this up. And please don't let me mess this up.
Exactly. Well, you guys are amazing. I'm so glad we were able to do this with you
Yeah.
guys and get to know you better. And thanks for all the advice and the information and knowledge that you just shared with so many people, couples, or people who are wanting to find a relationship too. Not that this is like a couples podcast, but it's hopeful and helpful for people to see couples on the same page. I feel
Yeah.
like that's a really helpful
Absolutely.
thing to see
Yeah.
in this day and age, like we talked about. So, yeah, where can people kind of connect? I know, Vince, you have your podcast, so if you want to kind of share with us, where people can connect with you.
Yeah, you can always hit me up on X, Huddle, Florida. And then I do have my podcast, the Bitcoin Broadcast, on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple, and
Nice.
Rumble. But yeah,
Nice.
you can always hit me up on there. I reply to almost every DM, unless you're annoying, then I don't. And then no, I reply to everyone. Uh, yeah, you can hit me up there.
Cool.
Awesome.
Well, thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you
Thank you all so
guys.
much as well.
This
It
was
was great.
fun.
Y'all are awesome hosts. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys. Bye, guys.